And this is the global forecast for September 2022. Let's look at what's not happening first of all, shall we? There's a new moon in Libra on September the 25th. It's a quiet new moon. It's happening during a Mercury retrograde, but it's a quiet new moon. The full moon on the 10th of September at 17 degrees of Pisces will be nicely sextiling Uranus. That's nice. One or two people are going to do well around this time in terms of novelty, originality and fresh starts. Those of you being blessed by Uranus this year are in a good space. Pluto continues its retrograde journey through Capricorn, although in early October it will stand still and start moving forward. So Pluto's beginning to come to the end of its backward journey, and at the moment, if it's working, you don't fix it. Similarly, Neptune now retrograde in Pisces, trucking backwards, not being significantly impacted. Saturn getting ready to stand still in Aquarius, you'd think is not being a big deal. All of this is great. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all moving retrograde, all healthy enough on the surface. Venus starts the month in Leo, spends most of the month in Virgo, on the last day of the month moves into Libra, no big deal. So, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, new and full moon, relatively quiet, at least on the surface. So what does that leave? Well, it leaves the Sun, fine. Mars in Gemini. In the first stage of its 6-month journey through Gemini, there's a good case here for looking at the area of 6 to 19 degrees of Gemini in your personal chart and looking at seeing what house it's occupying. And this is a great time for innovation, novelty, originality, planting seeds, throwing fishing lines into the future, new dreams and ideas, but not actions or developments. That comes later. Not too bothered about Mars in Gemini this month. But there's a Mercury retrograde this month. It starts on the 10th of September, finishes on about the 1st, 2nd of October. Starts on the day of the full moon. And this Mercury retrograde will be standing still opposite Jupiter. So basically, from, say, the 29th of August through to, say, the 22nd of September, 3.5 weeks, Mercury retrograde opposite Jupiter. On a personal level, a Mercury retrograde opposite Jupiter means that there's going to be lots of words and no actions, lots of promises. I can do this, you can do that. She said, he said. And it's all going to be hype and spin. It's all going to be words without substance. It's all people going to be high-minded, preaching about how they're walking their talk, living life according to their philosophies. We can do this for you. We can empower you to do this. We can make this happen. It's all going to be political and economic claptrap. Don't buy into it. Hype and spin. All the media will have their own stories about who's doing this, it's good, it's bad. Don't buy into it. It's what we call a storm in a teacup aspect. But it's much more difficult than this once you look underneath. Jupiter is retrograde in early Aries. And over September, Jupiter will semi-square 45 degrees Saturn. On the 21st of September. Jupiter will semi-square Uranus on the 28th of September. So Jupiter will be on the midpoint of Saturn and Uranus in the last 10 days of September, whilst Mercury is opposite Jupiter. So think of a kite formation. Normally you think of a kite as a grand trine, a triangle with 2 sextiles on the top. This is different. This is a square with 2 square and a half, so it's a much more flattened triangle with 2 semi-squares on the top. It's a much more difficult pattern, and it all focuses on this time where Jupiter is semi-square Saturn and brewing up to semi-square Uranus, and Mercury will be opposite Jupiter at the same time. And this is going to be very strong around the 20th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd of September. Now take this out of the astrology and into the global. It's pretty clear to me that with the new Prime Minister coming into the UK, with the hype and spin in the economic situation in America and in Europe, with the big drug booms and drug challenges in Australia, and particularly with the Ukraine war, with Jupiter semi-square Saturn and semi-square Uranus, it's going to be, oh, we've got to stick to the old tried and trusted structures from the past, we've got to move into the new and try innovative and new solutions, which neither will work. With Mercury opposite Jupiter, it's going to be like, yes, we can do this. Yes, trust in us, believe in us. But who, in their right mind, trusts or believes in politicians these days? They're all self-serving, arrogant, conceited idiots who have got no idea about what's really going on in the street. And they are basically powerless to affect what's happening as a result of the war. All they're interested in is lining their own pockets and their pockets of their fat, rich, of their fat cat friends. And that's all politicians. It's not any one particular party. I'm ranting again, aren't I? As individuals, it would be very easy to be seduced by the false promises of the media and the politicians and the economists. We're all going to solve it. It's all going to get sorted. We're going to give you lots of money. We'll keep the bills down. No, they're not. Now, in truth, I honestly don't think that the next few months are going to be quite as bad as everyone thinks they're going to be. I do think there'll be some type of fiscal and financial solution here which will be applied, which will inevitably involve more borrowing from the future. But this is capitalism and it's broke. And I'm not left-wing, I'm not right-wing, I'm an environmentalist. But the old political systems are defunct, and the people who are still playing by the old rules are making it worse for the rest of us. The new rules involve community, cooperation, teamwork, sharing, and a cessation of the obscene profits that 2% of the world are making at the expense of the rest of us. But they're the ones in power. Mercury opposite Jupiter is going to really amplify the hype and the spin. It's also going to amplify the anger and the frustration at what we see as the impotence of the 98% against the hypocrisy of the 2%. And this is in all theatres and all fields. There will be lots of hype and spin, but it's a storm in a teacup. There will be resolution. There is hope. There will be positive outcomes in a way that will not just keep the lid on things, but make things seem a little bit more positive the more we get into the middle of October and November onwards. But this is the last difficult month, really difficult month of the year. And the big thing is, this is all about hype and spin. Don't buy into it. The sensible people here will go, look at them, yap, 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 yap. Meantime, carry on saving money. Do your best to pay your bills. Do your best to keep putting your food on the table. Feed your starving astrologers, he says. And above all else, Mercury opposite Jupiter, it will bring a degree of wit, humour, hope and optimism into your personal lives. Find the humour. It's what makes us different from everyone else. The more you laugh, the saner you are. Catch you later, world. Bye.